to a very interesting woman named Minnie, who was the daughter of a professional spy in one of the earlier books. But anyway, Claire has reason to go and look for Jamie soon after he's left home, and is looking for him in the place where she thought he was headed. And she goes to Hal's house because she thinks that he would be the one that Jamie might have gone to for this, and knocks and finds instead Hal's wife, Minnie, and who is very hospitable, invites her in. "I knew your husband for a time," the Duchess said casually, and handed me a crystal glass of bubbling red wine. "He was handsome and charming, and I was madly in love with him, or so I thought. I hadn't encountered red champagne before, if that's what this was, but the glass was heavy in my hand and the contents smelled divine." "I knew your husband for a short time," I replied equably, watching her take an elegant sip. "He was a complete ass, but not without a certain charm." She clapped a hand to her mouth, and a spray of fine red bubbles shot out of her nose. I laughed too, but got a handkerchief up in time to catch the wine dribbling down my chin. "Here," I said, handing it to her. She nodded thanks, coughed a bit, dabbed her face, and handed it back. "Thank you," she said. "Yes, he is, which is a mixed blessing. Annoyingly stubborn, but he'll move heaven and earth to do what he thinks is right, no matter what it costs him personally, or anyone else." "I know exactly what you mean," I said ruefully. "Such men are dangerous." "True," she said, "but never boring." I had the distinct impression from her tone of voice that she had no use for boring men. "I'll admit that a boring man isn't much good in a drawing room," I said, glancing at a huge vase of roses on a marble-topped side table by the door. "Or a bedroom either," she agreed. "Fortunately, I haven't encountered one in those circumstances," I said politely. "But what I mean to say is that being boring isn't in itself without value. A boring man once saved my life." By virtue of being boring, she leaned forward and interested, and poured more wine into her glass, then lifted a brow, and at my nod refilled mine as well. "Exactly. I was in danger of being burned as a witch. In Scotland," I added, and she nodded as though this explained everything, which it did. "And he was a lawyer. He beat the church examiners back, word upon word and line upon line, literally for hours. I nearly died of boredom myself," I added truthfully. "But he held them off long enough for my husband to arrive and wake things up." "Oh, I wish I'd seen that. Both your gallant barrister's performance and your husband's timely arrival." She sounded truly regretful. I smiled, but for an instant I felt the cold wind off the lock and flinched in expectation of another blow across my bare back. "When did this happen?" she asked. "You aren't actually a witch, I suppose?" She sounded hopeful, and I laughed. "Some years ago," I said, "and as to being a witch, that seems to be debatable, but no." I took a rather large swallow and went down smoothly, but with a touch of unusual tartness. I cleared my throat. "Have you seen my husband lately?" "I saw him right there yesterday afternoon," she said, pointing to the daisy-patterned hearthrug. "I offered him a bed, of course." "Of course you did," I said, with a careful lack of emphasis. "Very hospitable of you." She grinned at me, and despite myself, I smiled back. The Duchess of Pardlow was small, blonde, elegant, and without doubt an imp. It was apparent to me, she wasn't hiding it, that she also loved her husband and was worried about him. "As I suppose my husband isn't presently in any of your beds, did he happen to say where he was going when he left?"